This is our half hour with Ed5 for January 10th, 2024. Last week, we tried something a little different. We asked that if anybody had something they wanted us to talk about in the half hour with Ed5, if not today, maybe in a future session, to just add it here. So, and then the next thing that we're going to do is today we will look at how to troubleshoot errors that are related to a descriptor. So if you have an error message that says something about a descriptor, you may already know what to do with that, but maybe you don't. So today we have an example that popped up in one of our test servers that may or may not be something that you have, but you might have something similar. So I thought it might be a good opportunity just to use that to show you all how you could troubleshoot that and know whether or not it's something that you would need to correct or could correct, or if it's worthy of a ticket. Okay, so let's start with our share space document. One that we saw last time, I think Mary helped us with this one because she had seen this before, but in case you weren't there, just quickly, for the student enrollments category in your dashboard, some people are seeing this dependency on student assessment registrations. Mary mentioned that this one was a new one that she had also seen. And the district that reported this said that in their case, most of these students are transferred out. I don't know that Mary said that she had necessarily observed that detail, so I'm not sure if that was just the district who reported it or if others are seeing that. But she said that in this case, because it might be tied to some new mapping, that she was able to just try publishing errors or publishing all a few times, and eventually it just whittled down and went away. So a quick show of hands, has anybody seen this error, or do you see this error? Just to get an idea of how widespread that one is in the group. All right, Alfreda says, yes, I have it. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Yes, mine were graduated. Okay. Oh, and Alfreda, you said that for you, the republishing didn't clear it up. Okay. Well, and did you also try, both a publish all and a publish errors? I realize that's a little time consuming to try both, but you did. Okay. That's good to know. Let's see, Rico, did you get yours to clear up? Yeah, so sorry. Yes, you tried, or yes, they cleared up? Okay, tried each step and nothing cleared it. Okay. All right, I'll put a note here that for districts right now, this doesn't seem to be working, even though it worked in our test server. I'm not sure what the difference would be, but that's good for us to know. We can bring that to our discussions with PowerSchool and see if there's something else happening there. I would say for either of you, in this case, if you wanted to go ahead and submit a ticket for that, since it's a little more mysterious maybe than we thought based on the fact that these steps aren't working for you, a ticket's probably fine. And if you let us know the numbers, we can add them to our, we can just kind of keep track of those and see if that gets resolved. So I'm going to put a note on January 10th. Few districts are still seeing this error and are not able to resolve it with republishing. For the student programs errors that we heard about last time, it was reported that there were some CTE related errors, some on student unique ID and some on student record. And there are a few student programs errors still out there. So we weren't entirely sure what these were, but this was interesting to me. It said that some of these would go through if individual students were published one at a time, whereas they would not publish if the district ran a published dependencies. I have actually seen that, not necessarily with this particular error, but in other cases where it seemed like there was some sort of, I don't know, batching thing happening where it was like the dependencies were sort of being posted in batches. And really, if you went through like this person is saying and did them one at a time, sometimes that would help clear them out or get things moving. But yeah, if you have a ton of those, that's not really a very efficient way to deal with them. I put that in the meantime for this particular one, a support case might be helpful to see if PowerSchool can come up with a way to help resolve that so that you don't have to do them one at a time. So another show of hands, or if anyone wants to chime in and provide more info on how this is appearing for you. Is anybody else seeing either? I guess there are two things really I feel like going on here. One is just this behavior, which I feel like I've seen for other types of dependencies and errors at times, and not as much. I feel like I hadn't seen it in a while. But then also CTE related errors. Is anyone getting any of that? This one you may need to open up your mic because there's kind of a few things going on there, I think. In the comment.
This is Jennifer with Horry County, and I'm the one who brought that up last week. I tried again yesterday, and basically when you do run it individual, it's taking about 1.5 minutes for each kid before it'll publish. And so,
Wow.
I mean, we had 1,500 in that category initially, but I tried that. I tried by school level. Also, just to try that and see if I got it a little bit smaller, if it would go through, and it would not, but still having that same issue.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. We'll make a note of that too. Yeah, that's odd. And maybe it is specific to this here. If anyone else does have that, if you would either just let us know, or you can come into the document and just be like, me too, that would be great, because if it's it is helpful to know when these things go beyond just 1 or 2 districts, right, in terms of troubleshooting. So you're saying it takes about 1.5 minutes per student to go through when publishing one at a time, and then the issue overall persists. Yeah, nobody else, is anybody else seeing something similar? Any other specifics on programs related errors that you're seeing, whether they be CTE or otherwise? Okay, so Missy, I still have 108 dependencies on student unique ID. And Missy, that's also student programs. Yeah, and student unique ID ones, those oftentimes, I don't know if you've looked at I know 108, that's kind of a lot of students, but okay, CTE. Have you checked those students to see if maybe it's just a situation where they, for whatever reason, came in and still you're like waiting on a SUNS number for them or something? Or, is there something special about those students where it might make sense that either they don't have a student unique ID? Yeah, why it's asking, are all 108? Oh, okay, she says all 108 are CTE on student unique ID. Or he's asking, okay. Buford is saying Buford has a lot of CTE dependencies on student unique ID, will publish on an individual student, but not in mass. Okay, so they all have IDs, but you're still getting I wonder if there's something else, like if you look at the transfer info page for those students, if there's, it would be interesting to know what else if there was anything else they had in common that you could pinpoint. That would probably be my next step for that, is just to see, okay, are these, early grads, why it's saying maybe that might make sense. So I would check that. If anybody, if you have a whole bunch of student unique ID errors all of a sudden, and you're like, no, they have IDs. Yeah, check, see if they're early grads, see if there's something else in their transfer info that they have in common or that's weird. I don't want to say weird, but that might be a little different than a lot of your students. Okay, yeah. So we see a few of you with that one. Tell you what, if you are one of the folks who has a bunch of student unique ID errors or dependencies, and that the students have unique IDs, if you are able to go in, I know we can't, unfortunately, in this meeting, kind of look at those for each of you. We don't want to share the PII. We're recording these now due to popular demand, and so that's something we have to be mindful of. But if you go in and you find that you can shed some light on why or what those students have in common, that might help the group. We could kind of add that to the notes to share. So we have a few more things popping up in the comments. Jeanette says we have over 1,000 CTE with state IDs as well. And Wyatt's asking, is there a workaround to publishing when one record is holding up a whole batch? It sounds like that could be the case here. We saw this before in other categories. Wyatt, off the top of my head, I am not sure. I'm wondering if some of the special operations, is Brett here with us? I'm not sure. I think I used a special operation the other day that might not have been just the ticket. Do you know if there's a special ops that would fix that?
The only one I have is the unpublished and eligible. I'm trying to think what else.
Unpublished and eligible.
Oh, sorry, that's from the dashboard way with the unpublished. So a lot of times with the special operations, I work through there when things might get stuck in publishing. Like generally if you're just trying to work with a clean dashboard, or you got so the unpublished and eligible is only in student identification.
Gotcha.
But what it does is when you run that in student identification, the unpublished and eligible, it fires off multiple resources at once. So when you do that, you'll see identification, enrollments, contacts, sections, I believe programs, all of that kicks off at once. And what that does is just kind of does like a clean sweep through the dashboard to get those students who should not be publishing off. Generally, you should be able to do that and they don't come back. They might come back. The next time you do a publish all in like a student identification, so we're still working through a lot of that, but that's kind of where it can clean up a lot, especially just have like really big inflated numbers on there. That's just like wow. I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. Sorry, I was late coming in.
No, it's all right. So Brett, from what you're sharing, even if what I'm hearing is like maybe even if they have programs errors that like these, that maybe they could still come up here to student identification and try.
Yeah, because at least that could help try to clean up some of those. And then like with the CTE ones, like I'm looking at Jeanette's comment where she has over 1,000 CTE with state IDs as well. There was that issue with CTE that I thought was getting fixed where it was like that bad batch where like if you had one bad one, it stopped all of them from going through. But I thought that came out.
That did. I think Vet mentioned that last time, and she was with us. She's not able to be here with us today. She had a conflict today, but yeah, she didn't seem to. This didn't seem to be something she would expect after that. But I don't know. Maybe it is related. But I mean, I guess that is something you could try. You could come up to student identification. Now, if they do if an unpublished and eligible, you said before going back and publishing something else, then do a publish all for that category, right?
Yeah, just to double check and make sure it doesn't come back afterwards.
So that's something to try. I'll put a little note here. See, option to try.
And then y'all checked. Okay, Wyatt mentioned the early grad. Sorry, I'm still catching up on the.
I'm going to put option to try unpublished and eligible for the student identification category, then publish all.
Yeah, Jeanette, now's a good time if you want to try put in a ticket with it because it is a little slower right now after coming off of the holidays. So right now wouldn't be a bad time just to throw that one up on there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. If we're not sure, a ticket's probably not a bad idea. At least we can help kind of usher that through if we can. All right. Well, we'll move on to the next one unless there are any other thoughts.
Are these sorry, I'm just looking. Are most of these for y'all CTE related? Cause I see Missy says something too. All under 8 are CTE, Buford.
Well, in this sheet, Brett, they've got different ones. This row is the only row, but people have kind of chimed in the chat to say, yeah, I've got some of those too. So it looks like it's not just one district. We knew last week it was at least a couple, but I think maybe we've got a few more who are seeing this. Is this new for you guys? Is it?
Jeanette's saying all hers are dependencies are in CTE there. Okay. That at least leads me somewhere. Same with Rock Hill. Okay. That actually helps out a lot if it's a majority of CTE that everybody's saying. So that probably wouldn't be something with early grad.
Is that one, Brett, that we can also maybe chat with PowerSchool about? And then
since it's a CTE issue, it's not, I don't think it has to be I need to go back and look at my mapping for CTE and see if there's anything weird in it and CTE compared to the other programs. Because if all of other programs are publishing correctly, and there's just something with CTE, then that's something I need to come together with PowerSchool with and review that for it.
Well, it's good stuff, though. It's good to know what people are seeing, and thank y'all for sharing that. Just a couple other things before we take a look at troubleshooting those descriptor-related errors. If you have those, hopefully you don't have any of those, but if you do, we'll look at that in a second. Someone added an error here, which we appreciate. This is actually one that we did talk about a few weeks ago, but I realized we're not, when I do the recordings for these, they don't have they don't necessarily have all the topics that we discuss and the title or anything. So if you missed this, I would recommend going back to this video that we linked to here. You're going to see how to deal with that. But just sort of to answer it quickly, this error is new for organization schedules. and it has to do with the implementation of the requirement around having credit type populated. So if you have a course for which credit type is not populated, then you're going to get this. And so if you're thinking, oh boy, how do I fix that? Then this video is something to watch. It's basically just sort of a trimmed down version of one of our previous sessions that we had here. And then this documentation right here that we have is going to help you. It details how to determine what value you should put. Okay, so that's definitely worth going in and correcting for your courses. And then the last one, someone told us that they had this survey response error, and yep, I'm sorry that y'all have that. Those should be resolved, not with the first state reporting release that's coming out, I guess this week, I think, if not very, very soon. There's going to be a state reporting coming out. It won't be in that one. It will be in the next one for this month where these will be resolved. It's related to a date field. But in any case, that error is also going to be causing errors in the survey category underneath it. So those should be resolved in what we call the January major. So the second January state reporting release. Be on the lookout for that. And then we have a few that have been added down here: student identification dependency on rejected school association, and a note that the student transferred out, and the district noticed that the entry and exit data are the same. So no-show record, I guess. And then another on student unique ID, not enrolled in any classes. Brett, do you have any thoughts on these two? What they could try there?
Transfer out, I know the entry, exit. Transfer. What's the exit code for that student identification with rejected? What's the code that that person used for it? Is it marked correctly as a no-show? So the notice the entry and exit date is the same. Cause I would check first just to make sure the exit code's correctly for that.
W22. Didn't we see in previous years, and I don't know if there's a reason why we'd see sort of an uptick in this, but there were a number of dependencies on these two things that it was kind of an oddity of like the publishing order, where it was almost like you had to kind of go through the dashboard and publish, and then publish them. Well, or maybe it was related to student enrollments. Well, let's see.
That was an enrollment, but
yeah. These were just added. I appreciate that. Let us, since we are limited in time, we have one thing we wanted to address on troubleshooting. This is good to know that you're seeing this. Any additional information you can share would be great, but we'll regroup.
yeah.
Is anybody else seeing these two?
The last one, the student ID identification was not enrolled in any classes. If you can give me a little more information, is that like, are they not supposed to be enrolled? Are they transferred out? Are they always like the names that they give it on these sheets, Anonymous Dolphin?
I think we had a hedgehog in here earlier. Okay, not enrolled in any classes. Interesting. Okay, well, transferred out.
For those two people, the last two ones with the transferred out students and the other one with the unique ID, both of y'all try that unpublished and eligible and see what it does. If it does not clear that up, then we can look further in that.
Okay.
Yeah, remember the unpublished and eligible is only under student identification.
Yep, and then you
See
would
if that
publish
works, and if not, either next week, bring this issue back or email one of us.
And if they never got a student unique ID, that would probably cause that too, right? But
yeah, and if they're inactive, they wouldn't have one, so you could still get them one, but
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing those. We'll circle back, give that a try. The next thing we wanted to look at was troubleshooting errors related to a descriptor. This should be pretty quick, so we only have a few minutes left. But we had a situation in one of our test servers where some descriptors had been added, but not in this case for this particular test server. So it actually can work to our benefit today to be able to show you maybe what you can do if you ever get an error that mentions a descriptor and you want to see, is that because of something that you can fix or what, or is it you do need to submit a ticket or what have you. So I'm going to show you an example that is in student programs, but this could happen anywhere really. Oops, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing there. we're going to click on errors to investigate the error and select errors. And in this case, we were seeing it for student language instruction programs. I hope that you all don't have this one. I don't think you should. If you do, let us know. But the error message looks like this. So the message detail says, unable to resolve value 8 to an existing proficiency descriptor resource. So anytime you have a message that says something about unable to resolve a certain value to a certain descriptor, the first place that you might want to check is your descriptor download. So we're going to go back to the dashboard. And you know how we tell you all as a good practice to, before you do a full publish of your dashboard, go ahead and run now to download your descriptors. Well, since we've done that recently, we can click here on review and we can select downloaded code set values. And it had referenced in our error message proficiency descriptor. So we can filter on the code set name to proficiency descriptor. There we go, or proficiency descriptors, add filter. And then what we get here is all the code values that would be acceptable with what PowerSchool is trying to send from your data. So if we click through these, or we can export them and look at them that way as a file, that's fine. Note that in our message, it said unable to resolve value 8. So in our little quote, single quotes here, we have an 8. So is there an 8 here? Well, no, but there is this 8 followed by some letters. Okay, so if we went through here carefully and noticed that we didn't have 8, we just had this, then that would be, we would have to evaluate it situation by situation, right? If you think that that the value of 8, should be fine, right? Then that might be a question for SCDE. Hey, is there a reason why this descriptor isn't here? You might want to think, okay, did I definitely download the descriptors? That I definitely hit that button, that run now button for the descriptors right here before I publish the category, right? Just thinking about the order of things. But if you think maybe that for some reason a value is being sent that's incorrect and if it's not matching with the values that are listed here, then that would be a situation that would tell you, hey, I need to go back and change something about the data or make sure the data is correct. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that you could go here to troubleshoot those. And one thing that we were really noticing the other day is that if you're using your level data validations to help as a first step, generally just in thinking about submitting correct data, that will probably resolve a lot of those types of things, those data quality issues. So if you're using level data to help, we don't have a whole lot of time to walk through that here today, but maybe next time we can pull it level data, your level data pages up here on the screen so you can see that. That's a great way to also make sure that you're correcting data.
Please start even just like play around with it, but check out that level data page. We've actually added level data, not we, but us working with level data have added some new features on there as well to help identify more of the recent errors that we've found while working with everyone. And so like one of those, for instance, like that post-grad student email, so how you like saw like it was in indicators, we had to go find the post-grad email, had like that leading or trailing space. Some people would have like 80, 100 and they had to like go through and fix that. With that level data page, you can all fix that just from one page right there. So like their level data is doing a great job with keeping that updated as we find these new errors. So definitely play around with that, take a look at it, and we'll have another session, like Wendy said, we'll go into more details with that page as well.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and we will see you all again next week.